Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning. Welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, with school back in session and the weather finally breaking, I think it's safe to say that
Fall is arriving?
It's arrived. We're into full swing.
Yep.
Things are opening up, and we've spoken many times on past shows about the subculture of wellness that exists here in Moore County, especially with the demographic shifts that have been going on over the last 10 years. Today we're going to be focusing on a business out of downtown Aberdeen, which is Indigo Yoga and the Healing Arts, which is right up my alley because I spend a lot of time with my morning coffee on social media, and there are so many different types of physical fitness.
Yep.
There are so many different businesses that practice this or that in terms of wellness, physical well-being, training. When I moved here in 1999,
there wasn't much around.
No. People would go to the fresh market and shuffle around. I mean,
Yep.
the demographics have completely shifted here, and it's become a very youthful, vibrant community.
Yes, it has.
People have a lot of choices to make and decisions to make about how they get their physical fitness, how they retain their flexibility, how they stay feeling healthy mind, healthy body. And there are so many forms of yoga.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
But everyone has, and underneath all these different philosophies of yoga, you get this feeling that this yoga is right, the others are wrong, and that's how people seem to advertise, and that's not the case at all. Heather McKeithen is the owner of Indigo Yoga, and they're located in downtown Aberdeen, behind the bake shop. Heather, tell me where because Aberdeen is full of nooks and crannies. I was just down there with some clients the other day, and tell me where exactly you're located.
Sure. So our physical address is 131 Talbooth Street. You can find us. We're basically situated it seems like a big empty parking lot, but behind the bakehouse and between the Galaxy grocery store. So if you're driving down Sycamore and you look at the Galaxy, you can see our back door. Okay. And I always tell people it's the big, ugly, gray building, but it's what's on the inside that counts.
Dorothy, the first thing I noticed about this table, if you look at the 4 guests who are here and look at their posture and then look at mine.
I'm feeling that one too.
No, there's a qualitative difference, and so I want to get what they have, and I want to figure this out. Let me just introduce around the table the guests. Heather, you've been the owner of Indigo Yoga and Healing Arts for how long?
So we opened in September of 2019 for a good 6-month haul before we had to shut back down for COVID. So,
right.
Since September 21st of 2019.
We're going to talk about how Zoom classes and yoga seem to work well together, if they do.
Sure, yeah, we can absolutely.
And I'm sure you guys were tested and had to do that last year.
Yeah, we definitely dipped our toes into the Zoom pool.
To your left is Jaqui Rodriguez. Jackie, known you for a bunch of years around here. You're a registered yoga teacher. You're a jack of all trades. You're a hardworking individual. How long have you been with Indigo?
Since we opened in 2019.
And how long have you been practicing?
I have been practicing since 2006.
Okay. One of the things Jackie said to me about a week or so ago, which kind of tipped me off into what the secret is behind yoga, is you have 2 children, and she said when they sense that mom's a little rattled or a little edgy, they tell her to go and do her yoga repetitions because it will settle her down and make her feel better.
They're much smarter than I am.
Is that right? But you do get a sense of peace and wellness from we won't call it the workout because that's not what it is. It's a combination of a workout, a mindset.
Yeah, it's a practice. Yes, absolutely. It has saved my life.
Okay.
So.
All right. I'm on board with that. To your left is Jess Parfitt. You're a yoga teacher. You're also a licensed therapist.
Yes.
What kind of therapist?
So I'm a clinical therapist. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and not a lot of people know that social workers, when you go past your bachelor's degree and you get your master's, that actually makes you're trained in therapy. So,
Okay.
yeah.
How long have you been with Indigo?
Just the past 6 months-ish.
Okay.
Heather and I met through yoga teacher training and other trainings that we've done together. And when I told her about opening up my own company for therapy, she offered to let me use her office space. So, yeah.
She's talking a little bit about what's under the roof at Indigo. It's not just yoga. There are a lot of services that you provide, which we're going to talk about.
Sure, absolutely.
So you're building a like a family tree of different services all about wellness.
That's absolutely correct. It's we have some really great and wonderful things going on down there, so I'm so excited to share that information with you today.
Okay. We also we want to talk to Crystal at the head of the table. Crystal, you were already in the radio business. You were telling me prior to the taping.
I was in radio way back in the day. I worked in Fort Wayne, Indiana for classic rock station, and then I was at a top 40 Froggy 106.7 and thought it was going to be my career, and realized that actually what I'm supposed to do is yoga and massage. So grateful I found this, and here I am now.
So you're a massage therapist, and you specialize in Thai massage.
Traditional Thai massage, correct.
How is that different from acupressure massage, shiatsu massage?
So it's an entirely different animal in that you are fully clothed, lying on the floor on a mat. Traditional classical massage, if you want to call it that, in the United States, you think of taking off your clothes and getting on a table. That's not the way that it works with Thai massage.
Okay.
I do also do myofascial release, Swedish massage, all of those modalities where you would be on a table and receive that type of body work. But Thai massage is really an energetic body work modality where we're working with the whole being from head to toe. And we're working with moving the energy in the body and the joints, and not just manipulating tissue.
Okay. So if somebody is thinking of signing up for yoga classes, there are a lot of other things that they could sign up for, but we don't want to intimidate those people. We just want to, because there's so many different services that you offer.
Right.
So the purpose and the mission of this yoga studio, it's not just yoga.
That's correct. Yes. So our mission is to be welcoming and open to anyone that is willing to step inside or perhaps outside of their comfort zone to do the healing work, which is what we really embody, and we love to put that out there for everyone. It's challenging because you don't know exactly what you're going to find. And we are so used to in our society of just stuffing things down and not dealing with it. So when you take the time to step onto your mat or step into a breathwork practice, you don't know what's going to come back up. So we like to hold this space for that, for it's a safe environment to really get to know yourself on a better level. I like to say, ignite your inner light. Just really to find yourself, let go of what's no longer serving you energetically, mentally, spiritually, perhaps, physically as well. So,
Okay.
And we have a whole bunch of different styles to offer that in the yoga world, but also in our healing arts as well.
What are the age groups of the people that come into Indigo?
So typically, so we are all levels. We don't see a lot of teenagers, but I would say our average range is maybe mid-20s. We have one of our regular students, she's 72. So we have a pretty broad range. And then it's for all levels, it's for all abilities. We don't necessarily challenge you to strike the pose, to get the pose just right. It's all about how it feels within your body. So you're coming in, you're stepping onto your mat, you're letting go of whatever's on your mind, on your chest, what's going on in the world. You're thinking about your breath work. You're listening to the heart instead of the mind. And you're just feeling how your body feels as you're moving from one pose to the next. And one day you might feel really strong in your practice, and then the next day, not so strong. And that's okay. And that's just part of the growth. You've got to just kind of ebb and flow, just like nature.
It's not a race, it's a marathon.
Absolutely. And even like marathons, you can stop and walk, right? If you need to, take a break. So it is, it's not, I always tell my students specifically, I'm happy to be the wah, wah, wah voice at the front of the room, but ultimately it is your job to be exactly where you need to be. I don't care about how you look or how you feel. I want to help you be safe in your alignment and such. And I'm happy to guide you through that. But ultimately, it's for the person that is present to kind of to do their own work. And that's what we like to do is, you know, we are our own greatest healer in that aspect.
What do you say to people who say maybe they call, they're inquiring, they just want to increase their flexibility? That's it. They just want to get into shape.
I love it.
Okay. So what you just said, there's just a whole laundry list of things. And somebody says, you know, I haven't been exercising. I haven't worked out in 10 years. I'm starting to feel, I have a sore hip. I have this, I have that. I just want to get back into shape. I'm not in a hurry, but I just want to do it. But some people are in a hurry. They think that it's a magic pill you take.
Right.
And if you go and you show up 3 times, you get credit for it. And you don't.
Absolutely. And that is, I think, one of the things that we like to bring to the table is that we have this idea of what yoga is. It is a race. You get in, you get hot, you get sweaty, you get flexibility, you get your muscles, you get your Instagram post with your awesome yoga tights. That's great. Those are all wonderful
I don't know what you just said. I don't know what you just said.
So yeah, you do gain those physical benefits. Cannot deny that, and those are a plus. But really, the purpose is to come in and find what drives you, what inspires you, what helps you navigate this world. You know, we get this one experience in this one lifetime, and you know, hopefully we can make it the best. And as far as someone coming in and saying, well, I just want to be able to touch my toes. Awesome. That's great. You got to start somewhere. And my favorite thing, I love it, is when people are like, well, I can't bend over. Well, I've never gone to the gym being able to pick up a 300-pound barbell, right? You have to work up to it. So no more excuses of, I can't bend over. Well, let us help you.
One of the things that I get from doing yoga stretching, because that's what I'll call it in my simple-minded layman's terms, the feeling that I have, it sneaks up on you. You don't feel like it's aerobic, but it kind of is. You actually can break into a sweat, which I don't like, as Jackie can attest. But the feeling that I told her that I get is I feel taller after an hour. I feel taller. I don't know that maybe it's more balanced. Maybe it's better circulation. Whatever it is, I feel like I'm standing up taller. And each time she says, you have no idea what your positions look like compared to what they were like a month ago. And I said, really? Because you don't necessarily feel it yet, right? But it's a very gradual process. But anything worth doing is worth doing slowly and building, not...
Correct.
You don't take a pill and all of a sudden you feel great.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And one of my favorite books that I would have probably never read had it not been for yoga is the Bhagavad Gita. And it's just it's this epic book. I think anyone and everyone should read it at some point. But basically, one of the parts that stuck out to me the most was that Krishna is having this conversation with Arjuna, and he tells Arjuna, anything that you put forth spiritually, or in this case, energetically, physically, it cannot be taken away. It cannot be detracted. It's always with you. So if you pick up a practice today and you put it down for 6 months or 6 years, you can come back to it and you haven't lost anything. So
Okay.
a little bit goes a long way here.
Okay. We're going to come back in the second set. I want to speak to everyone at the table. I have a bunch of questions. One last closing question. In your practice, percentage of men to women?
Ooh. To be fair, probably like 3 to 5% men compared to women is definitely, we get a lot more females.
So are men more, hey, I want to get in shape. Hey, I've got an hour today. Let's go. Let's get this thing started.
That's a tricky question.
Okay.
I have my theories on that.
Okay.
Because it is. It's a vulnerability. And then, as we're speaking, our studio, we talk a lot of, some people like the word woo-woo. I don't mind it. So we get kind of spiritual. We get onto the energetic realm. And that's not for everybody. And I
Right.
feel like, I don't know if it's a man versus woman thing. Maybe you can help answer that question, but it seems like the women have a more
Sounds like it's a patience versus impatience
maybe
thing to me. We're going to come back in the second set. We're talking this entire show all about the Indigo Yoga and Healing Arts studio in downtown Aberdeen. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to All Things Moore County. Indigo Yoga and Healing Arts is a topic of our conversation today. For women and for men, for people who want to get into shape. But I think when people say they want to get into shape, they only think about the physical part of it. And from what I got in between the lines of some of the conversation in the first set, there's a mental part to it as well. But there's a myth out there that a lot of people who have not practiced or done yoga feel like, well, they're not really going to get into shape, and they want to bulk up, guys in particular. But isn't balance, and I'll ask you all, the balance and flexibility the first goal to getting into shape for men, especially men who have let themselves maybe get out of shape?
Absolutely.
Crystal?
Yeah, if you can't reach around to do basic functions, then what's your quality of life?
Well, but I can lift 400 pounds with my right hand. No, I'm kidding.
Sweet. But yes, balance is of the utmost importance. We find pain in our bodies from misalignment or from imbalance. So if you are only getting stronger,
Right.
then you are getting less flexible. And if you can be as strong as you want and have a wicked headache all day long because you have not stretched out these muscles.
That's right.
Or you may not be able to wipe yourself if, your deltoids are way too big. So
That's a great word picture.
temper it a little bit.
No, I get it. No, that's good. But flexibility and balance is everything, isn't it? That's where that's like the bedrock where everything starts. If you can't, I did some yoga training in my home a couple of years ago, and I stopped. And I got to a point where I could just stand on one leg and do the tree and move my arms around. And it's amazing. You look at it and you think, oh, that's not hard to do, but it's hard to do. Then I lost that balance. It's like starting again. I had to actually have a chair just to lean on because I couldn't stand on one leg for a long enough period of time. But you get it back. It comes back more quickly than people realize. When you're training, Jackie, with your students, are you working primarily on flexibility and balance, or are you working on the whole package, which incorporates the breathing, the whole holistic approach to wellness?
Yes, it's the full package. Like Heather was saying earlier, meeting our students where they're at. So for me, it's more of a mindset that where is that resistance or that rigidity to the practice? If the balance isn't there, maybe your focus isn't there and you're in your head. So once you find that focus, you can find your balance. So again, it's just showing up and meeting our clients or our students where they're at, and whatever you need, if it's flexibility you're looking for, if it's strength, if it's longevity, if it's
Right.
muscle, muscle mass, whatever. So
Muscles are involved in stretching. I mean, people get cramps, and that's telling them that there's a muscle not firing properly or it's overtaxed.
Waking up muscles. The beautiful thing about the postures in yoga is you're accessing all these different accessory muscles that you wouldn't normally get in, maybe running or weight training. You're getting that joint coupling, so moving that synovial fluid around in the joints to keep them healthy for a long time. So there's so many benefits across the board that you don't get from just a typical exercise or calisthenics.
What do you want your clients to tell you after they've practiced with you about how they feel?
I want them to feel energetic, lighter, maybe a little exhausted and energetic at the same time,
right.
More clear, in a better mood.
Yeah, that's what your kids want from you when they say,
yeah,
Mom, don't practice. Jess, you have to also read someone, whether they're type A, they're type B, and how they receive instruction.
Oh, it is so funny as the yoga instructor watching the class.
Yep.
It's so much different than actually being in the class yourself. You notice all of these different facial expressions of people, and then we can even get into our own heads and we're looking at them thinking, are they liking this class? Like, are they getting anything out of this? Oh, I hope I said that. I forgot the pose child's pose once. Which is a really basic pose that you do at the beginning of class throughout the entire class.
Right.
And for whatever reason, because I was just so much in my mind, like especially first starting out, I couldn't remember the name of it. And so I said, all right, the one where you put your knees far apart and then your hips are on your heels and your hands are in front of you. So even as the teachers in yoga, we get into our own heads too. And yeah, we can see on the faces of the people in there practicing sometimes how difficult it is for them.
Right.
And so we also have to be giving them cues to get out of their heads and stop focusing on the pain that's right there. Come back to your breath, breathe into it, and then it helps you to stay in a pose longer than you normally would, especially if you were outside of the studio, just on your own.
How do you deal with, in group classes, people who are looking at the people next to them, comparing themselves, and trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak? That's not what you're trying to encourage, is it?
Never. Absolutely not. We are all unique. We each have our own bodies and we each have our own capabilities.
Right.
So I always say, don't look at me and think that you're going to do what I'm doing. I've been practicing for many years now.
Right.
I'm a little bit like Gumby. You have been practicing for however long you've been practicing, and so you're going to show up however you do.
Right.
You have to respect and honor your body where you are. And so an asana is a comfortable seat. We shouldn't be striving. We shouldn't be working so hard or looking at someone and thinking that we need to look like that and striving to do that, because it takes away from the true essence of yoga and what we're really trying to get out of the practice. So I would say, don't look around you, look within yourself.
So as a teacher, that's a challenge to you, isn't it? Because you have to coach and mentor each individual a little bit different. You have to speak to their listening. Everyone has a different listening.
Absolutely. And sometimes you'll say something that's a broad statement, and then you'll have to point out something, give a specific statement for someone in the class, because that's what they need to hear.
So if somebody is considering starting yoga to increase flexibility and increase balance, you have both private lessons as well as group lessons. But do you encourage people to start in groups? And what size groups do you have? And what do people need to do if they're going to come? What do they need to prepare? Heather, you've got the biggest smile. You go.
My nickname is Cheese. So yeah, if you're coming in for your very first time, if you have your own mat, if you don't, we've got everything that you need. Really just need to come with an open heart and a willingness to participate, because it is a vulnerability. It is, like I was mentioning earlier, there's a comfort zone, a level of comfort zone. And our class sizes range. So sometimes we have 13, 14 people in a class. Sometimes you might be the only one. So it just, the day, especially with what's going on in our world right now, we're experiencing that in our studio. And then as far as private classes versus group classes, that really again comes down to the individual. Some people think a private class is more intimidating because the eyes are completely on the student and only the student, and some people thrive in that environment, whereas in a group class you can kind of blend in a little bit easier, but then you don't get that one-on-one attention. So both have their benefits, just depending on what you're looking towards.
Is yoga a viable medium for weight reduction?
Absolutely.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, so you're moving circulation, you're moving lymph, you're breathing. So no one knows this. I don't know why no one knows this. When you exhale, that's how you're releasing. That's how you're burning fat. That's through your exhale. And when we're in a nice, good yoga practice, like we'll take a nice deep breath and we let that exhale go loud and long. And that's one of the best ways. But you have to keep a nice breathing practice throughout the whole thing. And very rarely do people walk around consciously breathing.
Well, don't most people breathe very shallowly?
Right.
Is that a word? Shallowly?
Shallow.
Sure.
We accept
For now.
It is in this moment.
Or restrict it, hold their breath, suck
Right.
in, try to make themselves smaller, take up less space. So just this simple act of allowing yourself to breathe fully is
Does
Burns fat.
yeah.
So does deep breathing, I don't know this, does deep breathing help increase metabolism?
Well, I don't know if there's scientific studies on that, but yeah, why not?
Walking, deep breathing?
Sure.
I mean, because metabolism is something that does seem to slow down as you get a little bit older.
Sure. And then you see 100-year-old ladies that are practicing yoga that are smaller than us sitting here.
That's right.
And what
So-
about even all the energy that it takes when we're stressed throughout the day? We feel more tired. We look to food. We look to drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. And so just overall, we become less healthy. So I would say, having a yoga practice helps you lose weight.
And
Go ahead.
And with
You can't wait to talk. I can tell.
just one,
great.
the mind-body connection is just one of probably the best benefits. One of my favorite benefits of yoga is that it does create that mind-body connection. So even when you're on the mat, you're aware that you're moving, you're breathing, you're concentrating, but then the magic starts to happen off of the mat, and you start to focus. You start to notice, wow, I am holding my breath. Wow, I am really, I'm hunching over, I'm tense, or I'm walking funny. Or when I eat that, it doesn't feel good. And so it's kind of like that ripple effect. You start on your mat. And
You've just made two references to nutrition. And does that nutrition aspect of health find its way into the conversation as you're working with yoga students?
yes. I mean, Crystal, you could probably...
Absolutely. So there's a yogic diet that you can follow. And if you take a specific yoga training, you would follow a sattvic diet, which is pure. It's fresh live foods. And that has everything to do with our mentality. If we eat dead and dying, we feel dead and dying. If we eat fresh and live, that's how we feel and that's how we act. I'm actually going to be in January. Can I plug this?
Sure.
In January, I'm going to be offering a workshop for vegetarianism. I've been vegetarian for many years, and so my workshop will be Ahimsa, the importance of vegetarianism. Ahimsa, that you probably don't know that word.
Good guess. I don't.
It's the first of the yamas. That's another word you don't. It means non-harming. That's the first step in the true science of yoga. There are 8 limbs and 9 forms of yoga. In classical yoga, in the science of yoga is what it's called. So there's the yamas and niyamas, which are the first 2 limbs. The asanas are the 3rd limb of yoga. Everyone thinks of yoga as this thing that we do postures, but the yamas and niyamas begin with the practice of yoga. And the very first of the yamas is ahimsa, which is non-harming, and that's vegetarianism. So and that's another conversation in itself.
But back in the day when I was in the jewelry business, I used to travel to Asia. I remember going to Hong Kong, and on the weekend off, after looking at merchants during the week, I would go to a place called the Stanley Market. There I would see Chinese families going down 2 hours before dinner to purchase their meal. And they would literally be buying, they would see all the livestock alive, and they would order the chicken or the fish or whatever it was. They would chop it up, wrap it in a bag, and they would walk away with the food. And the reason they did was because they said the Chinese people believe that if you eat, the more the cells are alive versus dead, or like processed food, the better it is for you. And you were mentioning something about that.
Yes, my teacher's guru always said, if you eat dead and dying, you feel dead and dying, which is cooked and dead things.
Okay.
Sorry.
No.
Did I just go there? But if you eat fresh,
It's a good word
positive,
picture.
Yeah,
It's a good
eat
word
some
picture.
fruit and see how that makes you feel.
We're going to come back in the third set. A lot more questions to ask you guys. Indigo Yoga and Healing Arts is in downtown Aberdeen. You have a big staff. You just have a few of your...
Yes.
How many people on your staff?
Oh my goodness. So altogether we have 9
Wow.
yoga teachers, and then we have 4 practitioners on the healing arts side.
Okay.
And I love actually 5.
Yeah,
We have 5 of them. Yes. So I got to include myself. Yeah.
This is All Things More County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our final set with Indigo Yoga. Heather, before we turn this over to you a little bit, how can people reach out to Indigo Yoga? Website, phone number, any information, group
Sure.
signups?
So we are on social media. For Instagram, we are at Indigo Yoga 108. On Facebook, we just set it up as a regular personal page, so it's just Indigo Yoga, like you were looking for a person under that name.
Right.
Our website is www.indigoinspire.com. We have our schedule, we have our list of all of our practitioners, our teachers, any information that you might be interested in finding out, we have that online. And then if you want to call me or text me, my personal number, well, it's my business number as well. 910-690-1762.
Okay. You guys offer a lot of different services. There are some things I don't know what they are. Shamanism.
Sure.
Pronounce, is it Reiki?
Reiki.
Reiki.
Yes.
Reiki.
Yes.
I actually know a little bit about what that is, but if you want to talk about some of the services that you all offer, that would be great.
Yeah, so we're not just yoga. We do on our healing arts side, which it's not the part that we really get out into the light too much. I offer shamanic healing as well as Reiki. Those are both a style of energy healing. So shamanism is basically, it's a lifestyle, and I can tell you a little history on that quickly. Okay. So shamanism is the oldest spiritual practice known to mankind. There's anthropological evidence that it's upwards of 40,000 years old. So before Buddhism, before any kind of standardized religion, there was shamanism. And the idea of that is that there is a direct connection between nature and to spirit. So if you're planting your crops, or it's time to start a family, or where is the herd traveling, they would tune into nature, tune in and honor the spirit. And so with the healing aspect of that, we can tune into nature and to spirit and receive guidance and offer healing, and whatever that means for the client.
Okay.
And then for Reiki, it's a style of energy healing as well. So that's just basically tuning in as a radio. So I like to explain it as I'm a radio and I have my antenna and I stick it up. So I capture this healing energy that exists all around us. It's infinite. It's none of my energy. It's just available, and then I can channel it through to the client that's on my table. And that is amazing. It's great for helping to relieve physical ailments, injuries, as well as energetic blockages, spiritual blockages, past trauma things, all sorts of really, really neat things come out of that.
Okay.
We also we have a registered dietitian, but she's not the kind that you would come to if you wanted to lose weight. She's helping you create a better relationship with food. So people that have eating disorders, you'd go see Kay. She's amazing. She's such a sweet lady. We have therapeutic massage, Thai massage. We have our mental health expert here. And then, so we also have, besides back to our studio side, we also have a couple of things that we offer regularly. Jackie offers a really awesome monthly shadow yoga workshop, and I would love to let her talk about that. We do a weekly sound meditation. So I have a set of crystal singing bowls. I use my drum. We get in there. All sorts of really cool things happen. And then I have a lady that we alternate weeks. So she does the gong bath. So similar to what the crystal singing bowls would do for you. Kundalini. I think we're the only studio in the area that offers Kundalini. I think you can go up to like Raleigh, Durham, Asheville, but Kundalini is amazing every Sunday, and that is definitely it is not you're not going to be doing downward facing dogs, you're not going to be maybe child's pose here and there, but this is really about tapping into that energy that we keep talking about and expanding and living through your light body. And then we have Indigo dance. It's once a month. And so it's not a choreographed dance. This is like when you were a little kid and you turn the radio on and you just dance. Yeah. This is that. So it really, I love it so much because it helps you. It basically forces you to put your ego to the side, because you're going to feel like a dork and you're going to know that you're looking funny, but who cares? That's the point. You get in, you move your body, and when you leave, you are so happy. Like, because you're breathing, your endorphins are lifted, you've let that ego that is not your amigo have a back seat for a minute. So really awesome. So we have some really wonderful things. And Jackie, can you tell
Shadow
us
yoga?
Yes. So it's something I created because after my training, I had a lot of self-sabotaging behaviors that just made me feel like a fraud. I didn't feel like I was living this authentic truth, or that I had no right to stand up in front of a class and teach this practice. And then I had this epiphany that there was, we all are light and dark, yin, yang, masculine, feminine. And many cultures have a ritual around honoring that shadow side of our conscious, our subconscious. So it's a 2-hour workshop where we show up and we accept every part of ourselves. And, it's a little weird, but it's also a really beautiful, safe place to, again, just, accept yourself, have a practice that is not, because I think when I started my yoga teacher training, you do want to live this 8-limb path, as Crystal was sharing about the yamas and the niyamas, and that is the goal. But we're also human, and we also live in, this culture that we live in. So that projection, that shadow projection, is all over the place and constant in our daily lives. So for me, it's just a way to embody and accept every part of myself. And
good for you.
That's what it is.
That's a good share. That's a good share. Crystal, talk a little bit about the Thai massage again. Why Thai massage versus other methods, and what are you hoping to achieve?
Sure. So you asked about flexibility earlier.
Yeah, I ask about it every day.
Yeah.
I go to the store, I look for it.
I'm the one standing in the grocery store line doing that forward fold.
She's in the
with my
produce
head
aisle.
between anyway, so I call Thai massage, and actually the masters that teach Thai massage call Thai massage lazy man's yoga, because your every joint is stretched for you and you don't have to do the work. I do the work for you. And So it's very comfortable in that you're not taking off your clothes, and you are breathing deeply through the whole thing. And if you've ever gone into a deep stretch, you've got to go
Right.
and let it go. So Thai massage, I follow your breath, I follow your body, but then I take you past where you've probably gone before to really get into that healing space. So I like to do table massage. There's so many different modalities. There's a lot of people that call deep tissue like their favorite thing, but deep tissue is very limited. You can get deep with Swedish. You can get deep with myofascial. I get super deep with Thai. And so if you wanted to be taller, then you will feel taller by the end of the session because depending on how you show up. That's the difference between therapeutic massage and some relaxation massage is you walk in showing up as you are. And today my back hurts. And so I want to feel longer in my spine. And that's exactly what we focus on. And you are a whole body. So, and not just your body, your body is a manifestation of your thoughts. So you need to calm your mind down enough. And with that breathing practice, it gives you that space to change the shape of your body, literally, because you don't have to have that bound up place in your mind. It's not going to exist in your body. So Thai massage is, again, it's one of the ancient modalities. It was created thousands of years ago, long before all of the Western ideal of massages. And it just brings you to a place that is unlike any other you've been.
About 4 months ago, I did some research. The learning curve was hard. I purchased a Japanese massage chair. It was an S-shaped chair. Intimidating how much information is out there, intimidating the prices. But I thought, this would be the easy man's way to get a massage. And it's good. I mean, it does everything. Your arms, your knees, your legs, your feet. It's crazy. But
there's no substitute for human touch.
That's exactly, and that's exactly what I was getting to. And I don't feel as loose when I get off the chair as after I've stretched. If I've worked an hour with Jackie, I get up, it feels better. Even though this chair is, it's ridiculous. It's what a car cost me when I was in college. It's crazy. But there are those things out there, and there's so much misinformation that people can read about and think, there's an easy way to get from here to there. But there's no easy way. You have to do it yourself. Motion is lotion, right?
Absolutely. And consistency is key. You can really make progress if you show up for yourself every day.
Right.
And that's what makes you your own healer.
Right.
Nobody else can breathe for you. Nobody else can take a walk for you. Nobody else can stretch for you.
Right.
You could come and get a massage, and that's 1 hour out of your week.
Right.
If you're lucky to come every week, who does that?
Right.
We are our own healer, in that we spend every moment with ourselves, and there's no one else that's going to do it for us.
Right. Jess, as you work with your clients, we talked a little bit before about speaking to other people's listening. That might be something you are so easy to tune into with people quickly, because you can be more effective as a teacher if you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking something else as well, especially when it comes to our bodies and calming our body down so that we can actually get into our mind and we can examine what our thoughts are. If our body isn't calm, we can't actually examine the thoughts that are going on. So that's why this Indigo is really cool, pulling all of this stuff together. And when we were first coming here, Heather said, Jess, can you provide some, grounding talk for mental health, being around all of us woo-woo people? And I was like, yeah, I can do that.
She makes us legit.
It's really important, though. Our bodies remember a lot. They remember trauma. They even remember if you were a kid and you slam the door and then Dad yells, stop slamming the door. Well, eventually, Dad doesn't have to be there anymore. And every time a door is slammed, your body is going to react. And so it is cool calming our bodies down, deep breathing, all of that stuff. And then, getting into the mind and examining what's going on.
Okay. Jackie, thank you for coming to join us. Jess, thank you. Crystal, thank you.
Thank you.
Heather, we've got about a minute or two.
Okay.
Why Indigo? People have a lot of choices in Moore County.
Sure. So I would say each and every one of us that come and offer something at the studio, we all bring our own experiences, our own style, and there's literally no judgment. It doesn't matter who you are coming in. We are going to accept you. We're going to welcome you. We will, if we are making you feel bad in any single sort of way, we're doing it wrong.
Okay.
And I feel that way about anyone that I come across on the street. So, and I know that each of us do as well.
Men and women.
Men and women. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Downtown Aberdeen has taken on a whole different look since when I first moved here in 1999. I mean, God, when I first came here in 1979, Aberdeen was just an afterthought. Mm-hmm. Today, it's a very vibrant community. It's very eclectic in nature. The architecture is fantastic. You guys have picked a great place to set up shop. Wish you all the very best of luck. I hope people come to visit and go to your website, which is
www.indigoinspire.com.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you guys all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week.